First up, we're going to have Victoria and Cassie. They are going to make a Easter gift first, and they're going to turn that into our Easter cocktail. And then we've got Jenni, who's going to be doing, it's like a Jaffa cocktail. It's a choc orange delight. And then you'll be coming back to me, and I'm going to be making more of a Turkish Delight fruity style cocktail. So I'm going to pass you over to Victoria and Cassie first.
Hi everybody, my name is Victoria. I am one of the team leaders here in WA. Today I'm actually going to start by making an Irish cream. So I've actually made this for a Christmas gift before, but why not give it as an Easter gift as well? So I'm going to make, it's like a Baileys, and then I'm going to pass that beautiful Baileys, homemade Baileys that we've made over to Cassie, who's going to use it for her cocktail. So the ingredients that I'm using today are some beautiful Jameson's whiskey, some instant coffee, but you could possibly use just espresso coffee. And I've actually dissolved the coffee. We've got some condensed, make your own. So if you search on cooking, you'll be able to find the recipe to make your own condensed milk. And the last ingredient is some cream. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, I have actually melted a little bit of chocolate. When you're melting your chocolate, you simply just need to have a really dry bowl. You can grate it on a high speed for a couple of seconds, and then you can melt it on a temperature of about 50 degrees for as long as it takes to melt your chocolate, but a couple of minutes on a low speed, so about 2 or 3. So I've already done that step. I'm just now going to add my condensed milk. As I mentioned, you can make your own at home, and it is just beautiful. I'm just using a few ingredients, like the main one is milk powder, but just search on cookie dough, and yeah, it's super easy to make. So we'll get all of that out, and now I'm just going to warm that up with the chocolate. So I'm cooking with a manual mode at the moment, so that's me telling the machine what to do. So with all the models, you're able to cook manually, and that's by either just knowing what you need to do or following a recipe. So when you're cooking manually on the TM6, you've got 3 little dials here, and it's a touch screen. So you simply just touch the option that you're wanting to select. You use your speed selector, so I'm just going to do a couple of minutes. You can actually, on the TM6, you can jump over by touching, or you can jump over by pushing the selector button in. So if you've got wet hands, that's a really good option. I'm going to select 50 degrees, and I'm going to go on to speed 3. So that's just going to, actually 2 is probably fine. So it's just going to heat my chocolate and my condensed milk up and sort of melt it so it's really runny. I love the fact that we've got a controlled heat with the TM6 or with any of the Thermomixes. So you know exactly that it's going to be that precise temperature. So it's really great for chefs or anything exceptional that you're wanting to do, like a melting of chocolate, because you know it's not going to burn or go over that temperature. So while that's cooking away or melting away, we can see here that it's at 40 degrees. There's a little number above the temperature that we're wanting it to get to. So it's now at 45 degrees, so almost at temperature. And that's really useful, so you know what's going on inside the bowl. I'm not going over 60 degrees today, but if I was, these little lights here would turn red, and that will let you know that the bowl is getting warm. So great if you've got little ones. So now I'm just, Kate actually wanted me to point out, because I'm manually cooking, by touching the speed, you can actually select, and there's a little blade here, but if I touch the blade, oopsie, it will flick over to reverse. So your blades are sharp only on one side. And so when you see the blades, that's it spinning in clockwise direction. But if you do want it to go on the blunt side, you just simply have to touch that little blade, and it will go onto like a little reverse looking mode, and that is the blade's turning on like a blunt side, so it's not going to destroy the contents of your food. So now what we're going to do is, it's like an iPad on the screen of your TM6. You've got access on one side to Cookie-Doo, which is that recipe platform I was talking to you about. We're not going to have a look at that today, but if that's something that you're wanting to explore a little bit more, please touch base with your consultant, because we do offer Cookie-Doo sessions virtually as well. And that's where you can explore all the amazing functions that Cookie-Doo has to offer for you, including your meal planning, your shopping lists, and now you can even add your own recipes onto Cookie-Doo, which we're going to be talking, Jenni's going to talk about a little bit later on. So on the other side, you've got access to all your modes. Now these are shortcuts when you do want to cook manually, so telling the machine what you're wanting to do. Some of my favorites, obviously the scales, because that's just so helpful having your built-in scales when you're cooking. Where I'm actually going to use the turbo mode in a moment, so I won't talk to you about that now, but my next favorite is definitely the pre-clean. I use that for every time I am cooking, because it saves me so much time not having to wash it in the sink, or you know, if it's really bad, you can pop it in the dishwasher. It's safe to do that, but pre-clean is definitely my favorite. The other one's probably the next favorite is blend mode in our family. We make smoothies every day, so that gets a fair workout. But there's even just cool things like being able to boil your eggs to your liking. So if you're wanting a soft boiled egg or a hard boiled egg, or even a medium egg. So that's pretty cool how you can get really precise eggs. The other ones, we've got rice cooker, fermentation. So I make a lot of yogurt in our house, which is a huge money saver, just by fermenting overnight or during the day if you're not accessing your machine. But yeah, fermentation's pretty cool too. And then the TM6, we've got a slow cook mode, you've got sous vide, and you can even peel now with the new blade cover peeler. So those are some of my favorites. And the great thing about the TM6 is that it just keeps getting better, because we do have that Wi-Fi built in. So we get modes added all the time. So that's pretty cool. It just is a machine that just keeps getting better. So I've got about 40 seconds, but I've shown you everything that I wanted to show you. So I'm going to actually stop the machine. So just simply by pushing the speed selector in, you can stop your machine at any time. I'll show you what's happened here. Oh my gosh, that looks amazing. I could just lick the drink it out of the bowl. All right, so what we're going to do now is just turn I'll put it on for a couple of minutes. We'll put it on 50 degrees, which it's already on, and then I'm going to put it onto speed 3. So in that, while the blades are spinning, I'm going to just slowly pour in my evaporative milk and my dissolved coffee, and that's just perfectly spinning away. The other things that I love doing in this sort of instance is making mayonnaise, because you've got your blades spinning, especially with the cooked egg mayonnaise, where you don't want your eggs to be scrambled. Having those blades spinning all the time, just as a constant spin, prevents it from curdling, or in the case of the mayonnaise, your eggs getting scrambled. Making dressings, so you can emulsify very easily just by simply pouring stuff on the top. If you're wanting to emulsify, it's a great idea to have the measuring cup in, and just dribbling the oil. Also applies for mayonnaise too, but just dribbling on the top of your bowl with the measuring cup in, because you've got 2 little holes there that will just allow that oil to just dribble in. But in this recipe, it doesn't matter so much. Now, it's preferred for this type of recipe that you use a cooking cream that doesn't tend to whip, but I think it should be okay with this one. I just didn't have access to a cooking cream today. So that's still heating, those items, and now I've just got the dissolved coffee. If you don't have coffee, instant coffee, you can use that espresso, as I mentioned, but that's all, basically that's popped all the ingredients in the bowl. I'm just going to stop that now and grab a jug. And check this out. Oh my gosh, that looks amazing. I'm not going to be able to show. Oh, here, look.
Pour it in the jug.
Oh, look, I'll pour it in the jug. Here we go. So, it's
You
like
need
a
to move your
chocolate.
hand down, Victoria, and
What's that? Oh, yes. Let me show you how the correct way to do it. If you hold your hand, see how I was quite like checking out my armpits. If I hold the jug down the bottom, it's a lot more ergonomic and easier on your arm and your wrist. So that's my beautiful non-alcoholic Irish
delicious.
whiskey. However, what we're going to do now is just access the scales, and to do that we simply swipe towards the left to grab the scales. I've got quite a bit of whiskey in here. We don't need the whole lot. You could halve this recipe as well, or just make a smaller amount, but we're going to weigh in 600 grams. I love how the scales are in increments of 1 with the TM6, so it makes it really precise when you're baking. And you can choose if you want to make it quite strong or weak, but there we go. Oh, look at that. Hang on, wait. Just need to keep it. Damn it. That's okay. All right. It's not going to break the recipe. So now I'm going to show you the turbo mode. And make sure that the measuring cup's in place, because that turbo is very powerful. The arms will lock in place once you've accessed it. And you can choose, there's a couple of settings. You can choose either half a second, 1 second, or 2 seconds. And it's just a really super high speed pulse. So I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to pour. You can choose which way that you pour it. That's basically cleaned all the chocolate off of the sides. Now, another way that you can, if you're melting chocolate, you can actually pour a little bit of milk in and warm up your milk to about 50 or 60 degrees and have a nice hot chocolate. So that's a great way to clean your bowl at the same time if you're not making an Irish whiskey. So I'm just going to pour that into our jug now. And that's going to just mix in. And then the best thing that you can do now is just pour it into a sterilized jug. Yeah, let me grab this. So pour it into a little sterilized bottle. You can get these from I got this one from a kitchen shop, but a reject shop or other places like that, maybe Target has them. So I'm going to pour that in there, make sure it's sterilized. With jars and stuff, you can sterilize those in the Varoma for about 20 minutes on a Varoma temperature. And so now I'm going to actually keep this for Cassie, but we will let it cool down so we don't melt all of our beautiful Easter eggs. And we'll pass over to Jenni for the moment, and we'll come back into my kitchen shortly.
thanks, Victoria.
Hello. So, hi, I'm Jenni. I am actually making something for you guys that I'm just a little bit excited about. It's kind of like, I guess, my take on a Jaffa. So you guys know that beautiful chocolate orange. So what I have done is I have already popped this recipe into the recipe community. So the Thermomix TM6 keeps getting better, and it's not just a tagline, it's absolutely something that we keep seeing more and more modes being added, as both Kate and Vic were talking about earlier. So what I've actually done is I have popped already on Cookie Dough. I have actually gone to the recipe community and uploaded this recipe about an hour ago. And you can actually upload your own recipe and then go to your Cookie Dough account and add that recipe so that it's going to be sitting on your Thermomix, which is exactly what's happened here. So I'm going to find that recipe, and I realize it's not as easy to see on my screen, but hopefully you guys will get the idea. And if you have any questions as we go, I have got the chat up, so feel free to pop something in. So I am going to go to my recipes, and in there you can access any of the recipes that you've saved, but in this particular case, it is a created recipe. Now, I haven't got a photo yet, because as I said, I did it an hour ago. So after I've made this cocktail, I'll take a photo and go and update it. But I'm going to click on the photo there on the image. And at the moment, I've called it Almost Jaffa Cocktail. So we'll see how that goes. And you can go through and grab the recipe. They are still all hot buttons like we have grown to love with the Thermomix. But I am just going to start cooking straight off the bat. So it does let me know which recipe I'm cooking, and it starts straight off at the ingredients. So for this one, I get you to place 200 grams of caster sugar, 30 grams of brown sugar, and a zest peel into the mixing bowl. So what I've done with this is we're actually going to put the sugar syrup recipe directly into this recipe. So if you want, as we go, if you want a copy of the recipe link, let me know and I will hook you up. So I'm just going to add them in order because I want my zest to be at the bottom of the bowl to grab and be as finely milled as possible. So what I've done is just the zest of one orange, literally just peeled it. Try not to peel too deep so you can avoid as much of the pith as possible, which is the white bit. So I'm going to chuck that in now. I have chucked it while Vic was doing her cocktail or her Bailey's version. I actually popped these in my air fryer just on a low heat to dry them out a bit. And that's going to help, especially if you want to keep the sugar mixture that you're making before the syrup. Whenever you're milling something, if it is dry, it's not going to stick to the edges. You're going to get it back onto the blades more. So I'm doing that. And then I'm actually going to go and bring up the scales. Now, what's super cool about this is you have a button for the scales and a button for the blades, so you can choose the time, temperature, and speed. And as you do this, Kate, you'll be super proud of me because you'll be able to notice not only have you got the scales brought up, but you've also got the ingredient list on the side with all of the measurements that you're going to need. So it does already tell you if you've got a short memory like me, the sugar that I needed to add. So I've got some caster sugar here, but everybody that knows who has a Thermomix, you can actually make this very easily using your raw sugar. Because we're milling it, you actually could get away with just popping raw sugar straight in anyway. So I have already pre-weighed that in there, and my scales are telling me that I was right. We're also going to add 30 grams of brown sugar. You can totally skip this step, or in place of the caster sugar, you can use a golden caster sugar. It's actually just a part of molasses. So an alternative is a really small dash of molasses. It adds more of a caramel flavour. So when you're doing your cocktail, you'll notice this one's going to have a bit of a caramel undertone in it, which is exciting. So the next ingredient that I'm going to add in there, I've already added my orange, that's actually everything. So I can go back and I can see, yep, I've added it. It wants it for 10 seconds, speed 9. So I bring on my blades, I'm going to pop the lid on and I can choose 10 seconds and I'm going to go straight to speed 9.
And the lovely Zoom cuts us out for those 10 seconds. But as Jenni's put that on Recipe Community, you can actually download any recipe from Recipe Community or even Cookadoo and alter that and pop them directly on your own Thermomix now with Cookadoo 3.0. So this is a really, really exciting feature that only just came out at the end of last year.
All right. So am I on mute still, or you guys can hear me all right?
We can hear you.
Awesome. I'm going to show you guys what that looks like. On the screen, can you see that beautiful, vibrant orange colour? So the next step of this is to add in 250 grams of water. And what's going to happen then is you cook it down for 5 minutes, which the recipe is going to tell me. So I'm going to continue scrolling across. So you place 250 of water in and you cook for 5 minutes, 100 degrees, speed 1. So I'm going to skip that step because I have already done it earlier. You want to let that cool. In this particular case, I actually want to keep that. I'm going to use this and make another batch of syrup later, and I'll tell you about what I'm going to make with it. I have got another bowl. What will happen is you need to, once you've cooked it, you need to drain it through a fine sieve. So I actually used a nut milk bag, and it grabbed all those little bits so you don't have any grainy flavours in your syrup. And what you end up with, I'll just pop this over here. So what you actually end up with is this beautiful coloured syrup. Can you see it's really quite clear? And
gorgeous.
It's delicious. So I have actually already pre-made and cooled it down, and I've got a few of these jars. So this can actually be popped in the fridge to use for anything else if you want to add that flavour through. As I was sampling it, thought, oh, this would be really nice, like over some cinnamon muffins or something like that. You know, just a bit of a sugar flavour. We're gonna, an icing. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to go bonkers trying it. So I'm actually going to skip on. I've got another bowl in the glaze set here. For those of you that have joined us today, you'll be thrilled to know that if you have invited 2 friends along, that you will actually qualify for our host rewards. If you miss the mark on that, don't worry, because we're constantly running either new classes or we can cater your cooking experience to you. So this is a discount at the moment on a bowl and glaze set, regardless of the model that you've got. We can hook you up with one. So I'm going to continue my recipe. So what it's saying is to transfer and cool. And then the next part is the actual making. So we're going to place some vodka, creme de cacao, orange syrup, and orange juice in. So we also need some ice. So did I pop that in? So I've just got some ice, and I've got mine in my thermo server just to keep it cool. If you are purchasing a black Thermomix, at the moment, the limited edition black Thermomix comes with a round thermo server in that beautiful black, as well as an oval thermo server. So you can chuck in however much ice you want. We're chucking in the ice that we had left in the half, which is not a great deal. Okay, so I need to add vodka, creme de cacao, orange syrup, and orange juice. So I'm going to bring up my scales again. And I believe it's about 100 grams of each. So let's see. Yes, 100 grams of vodka. Now, I don't know if you guys know this, but if you keep your vodka in the freezer, it's absolutely going to take the bite away. And don't worry, if we run out, I've got more nearby. Oh, no. How much for this one? Oh, 99. There we go. All right, so that's my vodka. And a pinch, you could use Kahlua in place of the creme de cacao. I don't know if I'm even saying that right. But we want 100 grams of this. So I'm going to press tear on the screen. And this has got a beautiful, beautiful, distinct flavour to it, though. Doing 100 grams of this one. So this should make about 4 cocktails, about 100 ml each on there. So the next we have our syrup, and I've already pre-weighed that out and it's cooled down. And then we're also going to add some orange juice. So if you want the clip removed, then again, you can strain it, you can just pre-juice it. If you don't mind that texture, you can just peel your white clip off, and you can give that a really, use fresh oranges in here if you wanted slices, and just blend it along. All right, that's it. So I'm going to follow the recipe again. So I'll just cross out, follow. Ooh, nope, I forgot to actually do it. 40 seconds, speed 6. So I'm going to bring my scales up. And let's go speed 6. Now, I told you I've just made it about an hour ago, so I'm going to update that to about 20 seconds. I reckon that would be more than enough. It does get like a beautiful froth on top. So what I have done is I had already melted some chocolate. So I thought I might show you guys what I do quickly. So I held that very carefully because I've actually got some warm water that I popped to preheat, and I melted my chocolate earlier and I had it in a bowl. Now this is what I do. If you guys are ever doing your own Easter eggs and decoration, you find the chocolate starts to set too quickly, I actually pop my hot water in the thermo server, and my bowls happen to fit beautifully in there. And that allows my chocolate to still stay. I did this about an hour ago, so you can see it is still quite, can you see how shiny that is? So we'll see, but basically what I've done for this one is dip it in, give it a swirl around, and then if you want, you can pop that into some little bits of candied orange. I've got some where I've chucked, you don't see my sprinkles on there. So again, the thermo servers are a host reward if you have really.
That looks so pretty. Is that just hundreds and thousands that you've dipped it in?
That one's hundreds and thousands.
Yeah, gorgeous.
I've gone crazy with lots of different things, but I did, I think I milled it. You can do, I've got these little dehydrated oranges as well. So I'm going to just show you guys now the cocktail in it. So it is still, even though it's orange, it's still got like a chocolate orange flavouring to it. So it pairs beautifully. So that's the first one. You can see that. And then I've also got some where I've popped the chocolate in the base and let it set. Oh my God, this smells amazing. So
You're going to do an experiment and tell us which one tastes better, the one with the chocolate in the bottom or the one with the sprinkles?
Yeah. Oh, there you go. It's really only 3 glasses because I poured them a bit much. What a pity. So yes, if you wanted to, you could absolutely, I'm going to chuck some sprinkles on this one, and I'm going to use that sugar syrup and add in some soda water and make my daughter her own little mocktail from this one as well. So I think that'll definitely lend itself to that. There you go. That's my beautiful cocktail for you. I'll update my photos and pop them in onto the recipe community for you guys.
That's really beautiful. I did try quickly to look for your recipe. What was it called? Almost Jaffa cocktail.
Almost Jaffa.
Yeah, I couldn't find it. So maybe we'll have to send an email out to everybody that's on today with your recipe so they can try it for Easter.
Once I've taken my photo, that was a quick decision. How's it look?
It looks so beautiful.
Well, just not everybody wants a chocolate thing. So if the different type of drink is your thing.
Yeah, and the Jaffa is such a classical a flavour combination too. So yeah, that's really awesome. And really exciting that you can put your own recipes on your Thermomix now. Absolutely. And share them. If you want to share them, you have to pop them onto the recipe community. You can't share them between Thermomixes, but every recipe from the recipe community, or even if you are a tweaker and you have a recipe from Cookadoo, you can upload and tweak those recipes and save them the way you like it, which is really, really lovely. Thanks, Jenny. You need to leave one for the photo at the end though. Don't drink them all.
No, and I'm using my phone, so I can't. I'm just looking at it thinking, oh, I might have to make another one.
Well, thank you. Now I am going to just pin my Thermomix can, because I am actually, so we've seen Victoria do manual cooking and a little bit of the blended using the modes. Jenny's just shown you how to create your own recipe and have it as a guided cooking on your Thermomix. And what I'm going to do is show you a recipe that is in recipe community and guided. So when you turn your Thermomix on, it will come up with the manual mode. And if you are a new planner, oh, I'm going to cancel that, been waiting too long. You just have to go to these 3 little lines, go to my week, and then everything that you've put in for that day will come up. So I'm going to be making Bianca's frozen Turkish Delight cocktail today, and I'm going to Easterify it just slightly. So When you've got guided cooking, when Victoria showed you, if you swipe one way, you can get access to Cookadoo, and you can search for your recipes that way and just go cook today, and it will come up and it will look exactly like it is now. So it's like having an iPad on your screen. You've got a beautiful picture on one side, all the ingredients on the other. It tells me that this one's super easy and it only takes 5 minutes. It does say it takes 12 hours to cook, but that's only because we had to freeze our cranberry juice. The preparation steps are all down one side. And because I've already frozen my cranberry, I could just go straight to step 2 and it will take me, but I just take me there. So I don't have to go next, which is really, really awesome. But I do want to show you how you use the scales if you just want to use them as scales. Down the bottom, you've got your nutritional information and any hints and tips if you want to change the recipe up. So what we're going to do is just go start cooking. Now, the beauty of this Thermomix, it replaces probably more than 20 appliances in your kitchen, and one of them is electronic scales. So it's just telling me to place a jug or a bowl on top of my Thermomix, and I'm going to press next. If I hadn't done that, all you need to do is press tear and it will take it down to 0. And now I can use that as electronic scales. I would just pour whatever I needed. In this instance, it was 260 grams of cranberry juice into there, and off I'd go. So that is just one really, really quick way of using the scales. And even if you were cooking, there's 3 little dots next to the next button. You can press that and you can go to scales. And if the blades are going less than speed 2, you can do exactly that. So you can start weighing the next step in the recipe. I'm just going to cancel out of that. So I have already poured the juice into some ice block containers, and I've frozen it. So the next thing that it's going to ask for is some gin. And I'm not sure, is anybody a TM31 or TM5 owner? If you are, let me know, because you'll be really impressed that the lid doesn't fall off. The measuring cup doesn't fall off on the lid. It's pretty special measuring cup. That is one change that they've made. So I'm just going to tear, because it was weighing my lid, 160 grams of gin. Whatever gin that you want. I have already pre-weighed it. So let's see how good I was to begin with. This recipe is also available in the gorgeous Creating Something Incredible cookbook. And if you don't have that one, it is a beautiful coffee table book. It's got lots of beautiful pictures and things in it as well. Next it's asking is for 40 grams of freshly squeezed lemon juice, which I have freshly squeezed it. Look at that, 38, I think that's close enough. 50 grams of rose water. This is going to give it that beautiful Turkish Delight flavour. What in that, 50? 4 egg whites. Here's some I prepared earlier. And if you do have a few cocktails and you're looking for a recipe to use up your egg yolks, try the egg mode on your Thermomix with some hollandaise sauce or something to use up the egg yolks, especially if you've had too many cocktails the night before. So now it's just asking to pop the lid on. If you wanted to make this into a mocktail, I would just put soda water instead. And the similar one that Jenny did, I would probably use soda water instead of the alcohol. For 10 seconds, already pre-programs it for me. So like Victoria had to press the button and change it. I can still change it if I want to, but it is all pre-programmed for me. And it says to go to speed 6. So you can kind of see it's a little bit grayed out. So all I go is straight to speed 6 for 10 seconds, and it's just going to muddle it for me. Okay, now it's asking for the frozen cranberry juice. So I just got mine in my beautiful white thermoserver. So Jenny had the larger one. This one is designed to fit directly into your Varoma, and it's also a host reward. So I'm just going to add that in. So the egg white has made it, I'm going to see if you can see it, really, really frothy. Can you see how frothed up that's made it? Now it's just asking for the frozen cubes, so in they go. Next, pop the lid back on. Whenever it says insert the measuring cup, it just means put the lid on with the measuring cup in place. Sometimes we cook without it, so that's why. And it also has a little picture. And this time, 15 seconds on speed 6. It's going to mix it up. Okay, and then this one serves 4. So it says grab 4 martini glasses. And I'll show you what it looks like first. And then I might dress it at the end. We might go to Victoria. So you can see it comes out all white, but it will separate later. Has anybody got any questions so far? You know, there is a little chat box that you can pop in if you've got any questions. So while that settles, I think we're going to go back to Victoria to see if she's ready. And then they are going to make, because it is Easter, they are going to make a lovely chocolate themed cocktail or mocktail, because what's Easter without a bit of chocolate? So I think that Cassie, you're up. Oh, that looks beautiful. Are you on mute still? No.
Oh, yes. Yes, we were. Sorry. Firstly, Victoria's just going to show you the gorgeous gift of Baileys that she can give to her friends for Easter now.
So that's, you're able to keep this in the fridge for up to 3 months. Just once you've opened it, you need to consume it within the week. So I will pass it over to Cassie, who's going to now...
I now get to use it, which is good. So what I'm making today is called the Boozy chocolate Easter cocktail. But of course, you can change it to a mocktail just by replacing the vodka with soda water, as Kate and Victoria pointed out before. And with the Baileys, it would just be using the non-alcoholic Baileys that Victoria made earlier. So mine again is just the manual cooking mode, not the cookie dough one like Kate just used. And my recipe is from Bake Play Smile, but we will send that link out to everybody afterwards. Another interesting thing you can do with cookie dough is that you can just type into your search mode Easter and it will bring up all of your Easter recipes. So lots and lots of things to explore in cookie dough. But I'll get started now. I'm going to use the one called Black Thermomix that we'll talk about later, but I've earned mine, so I'm very excited to use it. So we'll get started. So firstly, I'm just going to go swipe across to modes, go home and swipe across to modes and get my scales out. And then I'm going to put 95 grams of Nutella. Oh, we're going to tear that. Go back to 0. Very sticky.
And you can make your own Nutella, can't you, Cassie?
Yes. So I've actually bought Nutella today because I didn't get time to make my own. But in cookie dough, you can make your own Nutella or hazelnut spread, it's called in the cookie dough recipe. And it's just as divine. Trust me, I did make it before. Nearly there. Oops, we've gone a little bit over, but I'm sure it won't matter. It's only 5 grams. And then we're going to put in 60 grams of this beautiful homemade Baileys that Victoria made earlier. So I'm just going to tear the scales and go 65 grams. There we go. And we're going to tear again, and we're going to go 30 grams of vodka. just a little bit over, that won't matter. And then we're going to use some full cream milk. And it's 250 grams of milk. Now, this recipe can also be doubled. I'm just making a small portion today because I'm not drinking it today, but if you wanted to make a big lot, you would just double the recipe. So we've got 250. There we go. And we're going to pop the lid on. I'm just going to blend that. Now we're going to start, we'll go back to the manual modes, and you've got your time, your temperature, and your speed. So I'm just going to put it on for 20 seconds. I'm just going to start slowly and slowly increase the speed to 3. So we're just going to start that really slowly. Whoops. I'm just going to click across to the speed. And just start that really slowly and slowly increase to 3. Just have a quick look at that. You can see that that's my beautiful cocktail in there ready to pour. So I'll just grab out my beautifully decorated glasses that we did earlier. So you can present this any way you like. We've just given you a few examples today. Oh, so pretty. So again, earlier, Jenni showed you how to melt chocolate. I just did the same with the white chocolate, and we just decorated the glasses with a bit of white chocolate. And now we can just, and the other option is also, we've got an Easter egg here, and you can just chop off the ears or chop off the top, even eggs you can do, and we can pour it in there. So I'll just pour this one.
So when you're chopping the ears off of your Easter bunny, it's best if you heat up your knife. You get a nice clean cut when you do that. And I really like the white chocolate against the dark, the chocolate.
This one?
That looks beautiful.
Yeah. So that's me done. That's how easy it is. Yeah, so you can present it any 3 ways or any way you want. And we'll send that recipe out on email to everyone that's on today. And I think we're going back to Kate.
Yeah, that's gorgeous. Now you might have realized, wondering why we've got a black Thermomix in our kitchen. There's less than 200 available, so you can certainly still buy a black Thermomix. It's a limited edition. There are less than 200. Last time I checked, I think it was going down closer to like 180 maybe. So yes, definitely. And we, as a reward, as a consultant reward, we were very lucky to have earned our Thermomixes, our black Thermomixes before, I think last month or the month before. So it's just a little perk of being a consultant. So if you are enjoying today, this class is just a little bit of fun. But if you are enjoyed it today and you want to learn a little bit more about your Thermomix, make sure that you consider on coming and joining the team, because it's the best way to learn about your Thermomix and you get a few little goodies thrown in. Just wanted to show you, Jenni was saying that she's got a nut milk bag. So it just looks like this. That was what she was using to strain. The Thermomix Mix Shop do have some really good, great quality items on store. So you can always support your consultant by purchasing through them as well. What I've just been doing with I didn't want to do it too early for my Turkish Delight. I'm just using, if you use the fairy floss but it's the Poshmark brand. It kind of is like a little bit of a stringy, can you see that? It's more like a stringy fairy floss rather than the cotton woven candy. And I'm just going to make, hopefully it doesn't sink. I'm going to put a little Easter egg in my nest. And I've also just decorated with a bit, because it's Turkish Delight, with a little bit of pre-made Turkish Delight, but I know it is something that you can make yourself in your Thermomix as well. So what we've shown you is only a tiny, tiny little bit of what the Thermomix can do. If you want to see more, make sure that you reach out to your consultant, because there is an awesome host reward available this month. If you're hosting, you can get yourself a second bowl when you're melting the chocolate and things for all your Easter creations. It is really, really handy to have that second bowl. So make sure that you reach out your consultant and book in a cooking experience or join in another class, because you'll get a really good discount by just hosting, having 2 or more guests at your cooking experience. And if somebody purchases, you get it for $110, which is a huge, huge saving. So let's see, I've just pinned on the screen so everybody can show their wonderful creations. So we've got the almost Jaffa cocktail. Cheers. We've got actually I might swap your screen so I can see you lovely ladies a little bit better. Remove that one. We've got the homemade, what are we calling that, Victoria? Is it Bailey's or is it?
Irish cream.
Irish cream.
The other camera.
And you can decorate it in, they've given you different sorts of options on how you can present it. So the little chocolate bunny one, I've seen lots of people make more like hot chocolate, but not hot, cold chocolate varieties for their kids as well, for those little chocolate Easter eggs. So that's really fabulous as well. So, and I have got, oops, I've lost one of my eggs, but I have the Turkish Delight, beautiful cocktail and with a little Easter nest. And I think it looks pretty close to the picture in the beautiful book that I've got here. So if anybody wants any information about, we have obviously the black still available for a limited time. It is getting closer and closer to be finishing. And then we still have the classic white available. You have, with the black one, you get 2 beautiful thermo servers, and you've seen them in action today, with Jenni keeping her chocolate hot and me keeping my frozen cranberry juice cold. With the classic white, you do get a thermo server, the round one that Jenni had, the large one too. Or there's also options if you want to stick around, we can tell you, give you some information about joining the team. If anybody's got any more questions, that's it for today. We're going to, hopefully that's inspired you to make your own creations for this Easter.